before, I guess I should just address the title to squash any people thinking that I'm trying to bait them, because I'm not. Whenever I say I am disappointed in Zenless Zone Zero, that does not mean that I think that it is a bad game. It is disappointing because of my preconceived notions towards the game based off of the information and their previous games they've released. Whenever I say that I was disappointed in the game, it is because I was hoping for a game to scratch the itch, much like Genshin had, and to an extent, Honkai Star Rail. I am someone who loves RPGs, well-made RPGs. I have put an untold amount of time into games like Skyrim, Cyberpunk. I've dabbled in The Witcher here and there, but it just never quite hit my stride. Even the original Legend of Zelda for the 64, the Ocarina of Time, and Majora's Mask. I love sinking into those worlds and seeing where the secrets are, seeing where things are hidden. And I'm not saying that I demand these things from anybody, to be perfectly honest. It's just very nice whenever I'm able to find it. One of my favorite games, honestly, is Borderlands. At least Borderlands 2, to a less extent 3, but Borderlands to me is an amazing game in terms of an RPG because there is a world to explore and you're able to find secrets hidden in that world, and the farther you go, the more chances you have of finding something interesting or finding something that'll kill you and send you back to square one. Whenever I say I'm disappointed with Zenless Zone Zero, it's because whenever I played Genshin Impact for the first time, I just kind of skipped past a lot of the story, ran head first, and tried to get to the point. I feel like a game's opening moments have a very strong stranglehold on a game's overall performance, and I didn't want to be stuck there. I wanted to see, and because I knew it was a gacha game, because I knew it was going to be a time investment of a game, I wanted to get to the meat and potatoes. I wanted to get to where the point of the game was in its in its peak. I wanted to get past all the tutorial things to where it's just me and the game, and all I have left to do is to play it. That usually happens around level 10, level 15, I think. I think that's about the time whenever you get the Adventures Guild or whatever unlocked, and you're unlocked like daily challenges. By that time, though, if you have been following the story missions, you are aware of several side questy plot lines that you're going to follow. The main through plot line, though, that they have been, honestly, as far as I'm aware, still dragging out, is you trying to find your sibling, trying to figure out what happened to from your past. And it is a through line that is built upon over a long period of time. But they don't waste time by expecting that to be the only motivating force in that game. And I think they do pretty well. Anytime a new season or a new expansion drops for that world, you get to see more of it uncovered, and I think that's really cool. I really can't speak to the same level of detail in Honkai Star Rail because the combat was slow for me. However, I did love a lot of the characters' designs, and I love the aesthetic. I found the sci-fi fantastic. It was good, and for what little bit I did play, I thought it worked well. Here is where I have a problem, and here's where I'm disappointed with Zenless Zone Zero. I feel that it is too beholden to being a mobile game. Honkai Star Rail and Genshin, and I think also Wuthering Waves, but that's not Hoyo, though they're all mobile games. They're all capable of being played on mobile. They're chunky, but they are still very playable on mobile. They're simplistic in their design, which makes the content, when you do play it, to be, something you go out, you explore, you have fun, and you're able to cross-platform it, or whatever. My problem with Triple Z is that it feels too much like they're trying to accommodate for being on mobile. And let me double check real quick. Is Zenless Zone Zero on mobile? Zenless Zone Zero. Let me see. Platforms. Yeah, Android and iOS. So, yes, it is meant for that. And when you look at it through that lens, you see all the changes that they've made in otherwise well-established the otherwise well-established format that they've had. You see how it's changed to more appeal to the mobile crowd. You don't have a world that you can explore. You have a series of smaller rooms. They're dense. They are very dense rooms. There's a lot of stuff in those small rooms. But you move from room to room. You do the mini game or you interact with the NPC in those rooms. And that's really it. You don't travel through the city. You move through doorways, or you just fast travel whenever you get that unlocked. And there's a lot of places to unlock, sure. But it also permeates into the combat. The combat itself is fantastic. I like being able to swap out with other characters mid-battle, and those combos feel like they hit hard and they lean into one another, and it's very, very good. Better than Honkai and Genshin by far. I feel like the combat in this game is leagues above Honkai and Genshin. The problem is that, again, all the missions, at least the ones that I've played, because I did start a new account, I ran for several hours, I got probably twice as far as I did in my first account, and just in playing it, I have yet to really do much with characters outside of predetermined story missions. I got really lucky, and I have several good characters in my roster now, and I can't see them unless it's in a battle. I can't run around the world with them. I can't interact with other stuff with them. I only see them during combat. And while the combat is fun and it is different and it is better, I think, than Genshin, it is also, I feel like it lacks. I don't even know how to properly put it into words. There's something there and I just can't think of it, so I'm just going to move on rather than hyper focus on what I can't think of. On the subject of combat, though, one thing that I noticed is that if I'm doing a side mission, I am able, or if I'm training, if I'm earning uh, materials in order to upgrade my gear and upgrade my agent, I am able to use whatever I want. But if I'm running a story mission, I am forced to play with certain characters. Not the I don't think I have the option to change those characters out. I tried a couple times and it said I could not change trial. I couldn't change trial agents because they were locked to that story. And I don't really feel like that's fun. Like, I got lucky. I was able to get some good characters. I've invested in these characters. Why can't I play as these characters? I don't even think that my levels mattered whenever I was running the trial characters because I had to use them and I survived and I got by, but I don't think me spending my upgrade points on those characters to make them stronger mattered in the story mission. And I feel like that is a bad game design choice. If you give someone the ability to make a team, you should allow them, even if it is a story mission, allow them to play with the other characters. And this is where I'll say Genshin did it better because you can have a team, but a trial character is put in addition to your team. So you on that specific mission, you can swap to them and you can play as them during the mission instead of forcing you to change your entire team for a long series of missions. And I played through slight spoilers, but I played through the chapter with Nekomata. And every mission was back and forth with Billy, Anby, Nicole, and Neko. And it was cool to play as them, but after like the 5th or 6th battle, I'm like, I've got the cool spooky maid, the depressed shy maid, and the small girl with the big axe. Like, I want to play with them. Why can't I play with them in the story mission? Like, I get having and they were so close to it too because Nekomata was there as a 4th member and I was able to rotate into her and use her during the thing, but I still had to use Anby, Nicole, and Billy. So why couldn't I have just used my characters? Because nothing would have changed. Me having my characters there wouldn't have changed anything. It wasn't like this was a larger deal than it could have been because it was an instanced fight. It was part of a mission that I could go back and replay. So why couldn't I just play my characters? Um, Someone commented on the last YouTube video that I did. Robot Boy 30, thank you so much for the comment. I do appreciate the feedback. And this is by no means trying to like call you out or say, no, I'm right, no, you're wrong. Like, I appreciate any and all criticism, and I try to see other people's points of view. One of the things that was mentioned, let me see. It sounds like you bounced off the presentation, characters, and story. To me, it seems like a lot of people who got into the stuff like Genshin liked the more fantasy elements of those games and really only enjoyed the aesthetics. I've seen people complain about the hip hop, and I've seen people complain that the characters look uninspired, which they very much look far more original than any of the characters from Honkai or Genshin. And I 100% agree with that statement. I feel that the characters of Triple Z is so much, it is peak Hoyo. Like, it is the best that Hoyo has ever done. The level of voice acting, the level of art, the level of animation, the level of design for these characters. Like, I really like them. They're really, really good. And I think they're better than any of the others. I just wish that I could do more with them outside of predetermined battles. Because, like, what's the point of having characters otherwise? Um, before that bit, a couple of paragraphs off. I'm doing this out of order, so I apologize. Um, Unlike Genshin or Honkai, which are filled with Chinese proverbs and lore that makes no sense, Triple Z seems to be a lot more down to earth and relatable to different cultural backgrounds. It is inspired by Japanese media, which much more than the others. And I agree. I do find the world to be interesting, and that's kind of why I led with what I did in the beginning of this video. I love the worlds of games and stories so much. The world of Borderlands, the world of Pandora, that world with the vaults and the bad and the psychos and the different cults that are there and the different corporations. Like, there's so much. I want to immerse myself in that world and just soak it all up, and I love that. Same with Legend of Zelda, specifically like Wind Waker. Wind Waker is my favorite Zelda game, and I love that world. I love how each individual island is so extremely unique from one another, and you can find different things, and how, like, just being on the open seas and like interacting with pirates or finding hidden treasure. Um, the world of Paper Mario. Oh Lord, the world of Paper Mario was is still, like, the first two games are my favorite Mario games of all time. And those worlds are super cool because it opens up. You're able to see, like, the Goomba Village and the Koopa Village. You're able to see the Shy Guy's toy box. You're able to go to the Yoshi's Island and experience everything there. I love the world so much. And that's how I feel about Zenless Zone Zero. I want to see more of this world, but I am limited to the structure. And I cannot. I feel, and that's kind of how I feel with something like League of Legends. If I would, throw myself under the bus for admitting I like League of Legends, I don't care. But Runeterra is an amazing place. There are cultures, there are countries, there are continents, there are realms of reality between the living and the dead and beyond. There are gods and demons and deities, and there are common folk, and all of these things paint an amazing picture that I wish I could see more of on the ground. It's honestly why I love season 1 of Arcane so much, and why I'm absolutely not interested at all in season 2, because we're still in Piltover and Zon. Like, show me the Shadow Islands. Show me Ionia. Show me the Yordle villages. I want to see more of the world. And yeah, it's just a little disappointing that I can't do that. Moving on past that, it's weird to say I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do or why I'm supposed to do it. When the game gives you an objective marker in the upper left part of the screen, it shows you what you're supposed to do, and if you're lacking context, maybe pay attention to the dialogue on the story. I will admit that I said that out of turn, and I was operating on very little sleep whenever I recorded all that, so how I said that was definitely not as well thought out as I could have put it. Allow me to reiterate that statement. I understand that we're a hacker, we're the proxy, we're the whatever, but when I say I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be doing or why I'm supposed to be doing it, what I mean by that is, and I'm not sure why things are happening in a way that that I can connect to. And granted, this is, again, at that point, I was more disappointed that the world was not open and that I couldn't go around and explore. And I was confused that our main character is controlling a little stuffed bunny that they control, but we're not there, but they're there, but the other characters are there, but we're not, but we're still the main character. Like, I'm just confused because based off of other Hoya projects, when you pick the character, you can play as the character and interact with, the action. And having a split between combat and then the other world, I guess you could say, or the real world, if you want to be pedantic about it, and that's fine. Like, okay, so we're not a fighter, but we can fight with a little robot bunny that sometimes shows up in the story battles or the commission battles. Like, that's kind of cool, I guess. I don't know. It's in any other game, literally in any other game, the role of Phaethon, the role of Wise and Bell as proxy would be delegated to an NPC. I don't see why we're there. And that's more what I was trying to get at. I don't see why we, the main characters, air quotes, of this brother-sister combo, I don't see why we're there, because we're just kind of telling other people what to do, sort of. So I still, honestly, I still don't get it. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, because we're effectively just an NPC. The other major issue that I have, now that I've played more of it, is, again, it's all just a bunch of series of corridors and stuff, and you only see the holo whenever you're in missions, and I just see this big broken world and these bright pastel colors and all this possibility and verticality that is just squandered because it's not there. I feel that, honestly, if you were to take every individual place and just kind of stitch them together, it would be an amazing story. It would be an amazing visuals. Because whenever, okay, these characters are leaving the party to go over here to go and lure out this big bad, all we see are character portraits on a grid moving to another side of the screen, and then it's implied that other stuff is actually happening. But because we're proxy, because we're controlling the little rabbit dude, all we see is the grid. But these things are actually happening. They're actually exploring. They're actually going out in these larger environments and doing all these cool puzzle things. And we just don't see it. And that's really what probably disappoints me the most. We have traded a large open world full of potential depth and traded it for a grid that is easy to manage, that we don't that's all we're ever going to see. We're not going to see these characters flipping switches, searching for clues, finding NPCs, running down corridors. The only time we see it is whenever immediate fight, kill the enemies in the zone, run down the hallway, fight again, run down the hallway. And I feel like that is a missed opportunity, because one of my favorite maps in all video games is not some grand sprawling epic like Tivat or the overworld of Hyrule in Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. It's Cyberpunk 2077. Night City is so dense. It's so huge, but it's all just one city. It's a city with multiple locations that you could travel to, and You could see how the city itself changes depending on where you are, and the other characters wandering around doing cool stuff. Like, the NPCs in Triple Z are amazing. The ramen chef, the scratch off dog, the different cats in different places, the arcade owners, the all these places, even the video rental store that you work out of is so cool. I want to see more of that. I want to be able to explore that. And if they had that, I could probably look past the main character just being effectively navigating NPC. And yes, I know the story is happening. I'm not going to spoil it. Story is happening, and it's kind of interesting, but it doesn't take away that we as characters don't do much. And what we do is told in squares. And those squares sometimes zoom out and you see beautifully drawn comic book style cutscenes with other characters. And we get to see that something is actually happening. But in the moment, we don't see it at all. And that's a little disappointing. I did not mean to ramble on for almost 30 minutes. I haven't even read half of the full comment. The comment's down below on the first video. By all means, go read it yourself. I would love other people's more other takes on that. I'm not trying to defend a gacha game, but one final thing I want to touch on is people have stated that they don't like Genshin or Honkai because of the grindy nature of it. I hate to break this to you, but the grindy nature's still there. It's just in a different candy wrapper. There's a specific place that you can go that you don't even have to travel to. You don't have to worry about flying by. You just take a quick menu hop 2 screens over, and then you select an area to fight for a specific kind of drop that you need to specifically upgrade a specific character. And that's it. If you want to find other materials to be able to upgrade the character faster, then you fight away there. And you do that. And that's fine. The grind is still there. Grinding for weapon parts stuff is still there. Ascension material still there. It's just consolidated to fit better for the mobile phone experience, in my opinion. Finally, I'll leave off on, personally, this game is a tighter experience than something Genshin, where all the characters feel nearly identical and the story is literal nonsense, not to mention the gacha-infested world bloat. I think it's fine that people don't like this game, but I think it's just a trendy thing to crap on right now. It's a gacha game, so I don't think it's some amazing piece of media, but it's definitely one of the more fun gachas I've ever played personally. People are going to hate on anything just because it's momentarily popular. Same thing happened with Wuthering Waves, same thing happened with Honkai Star Rail, same thing happened with Genshin Impact, same thing happened with Minecraft, with League of Legends, with Valorant, with Overwatch, with Call of Duty, with Warcraft. Anything that has gotten popular has gotten crap because it's popular. And I'm not trying to crap on this game. I'm just venting my frustrations, and I can't help but be a little disappointed in how it's handled. And don't get me wrong, I do like the game. I think it's fun. It's just not what I wanted from Hoyo. And that's fine. Like I said, if you go in knowing that you're not going to have a world to explore and you still want to put yourself through all that, and you just want to go through story missions, then more power to you. I think that's fine. Yeah, that's all I've got.